Dear students, hello everyone. How's everything? I hope you're fine. Today is our third session of Freshman course entitled The Conditionals. As you know, we have four types of conditionals. We have zero, first, second, and third. So let's start by the first one, which is the zero conditional. In the zero conditional, as you know, in the if clause, I should use the present simple, and in the main clause I should use the same tense. So we use the present simple and the zero conditional in both sentences. And regarding the use, we use the zero conditional to talk about the results of an action or situation that are always true. So when you have a fact, when you believe that something is true, so we should use the zero conditional. Like the first sentence, if a football player is shown a red card, he leaves the pitch. So this is true. So as you know, if the football player is getting or receiving the red card in the match, so this means he is out of the match. So all of us believe this fact. And in this type, we can use when instead of if. Like when a football player is shown a red card, he leaves the pitch. So again, the zero conditional, present simple, present simple, and it focuses on the facts. Regarding the second type, which is the first conditional, so if clause consists of the present simple, and in the main clause I should use will plus the stem verb or the infinitive. So in this kind we use the first conditional to talk about the results of an action or situation that will probably happen now or in the future. So when I do believe that something will happen now or in the future, so I should use the first conditional. Again, the first conditional, present simple, will or may or can or even might plus the stem verb. And we are provided here with two examples. If my team wins the match, I will be thrilled. Okay, so in this situation, this might happen. I mean, my team might win the match and it might lose. So if my team wins the match, I will be thrilled. But what do you think if my team loses the match? For sure, I will be sad, upset, disappointed. And in the second example, if it's still raining later, we will play indoors. So in case the rain is continuing, so in this case we will play indoors, we cannot go outdoors. Here, as you can see, we can use can, could, may or might in the main clause instead of will. So as in the first one, like I can say if my team wins the match, I will be thrilled. I might be thrilled. I may be thrilled. Okay. And one more thing in this kind, and I mean in the first conditional, I can also use the imperative form. Okay. Like the last example here. If you aren't doing anything tonight, watch the match at my house. One more example, like if you want to be the first, study hard. If you want to be respected, come earlier. Okay, so I can use the imperative form in the first conditional. So this is for the zero conditional and the first one. Next. So here we will discuss the third type, which is the second conditional. So what about the form? Do you think the same? For sure no. So the form here is completely different. So in the second conditional, I can use the past tense, and this is an if clause. So I should use in the main clause would plus the stem verb. So did you notice a difference between the second conditional and the first one? Right, yes. If clause here is completely different because in the first conditional I used the present simple, while in this type I used the past tense. Even in the main clause, in the first conditional I used will, can, may, or might, but in this kind, I mean the second conditional, I used would plus the stem verb. What about the use? So we use the second conditional to talk about the results of an action or situation. Okay, in two cases, the results of an action or situation that probably won't happen now or in the future. Okay, so again, I'm talking about actions or situation that won't happen now or in the future. Like this example, you would be healthier if you took some exercise. Okay, so I mean by this sentence that this action might not happen now for sure. I mean the results of this action would be completely different if you did this, okay, later on. So again, I use the second conditional for something that probably won't happen now or in the future. The second use of the second conditional is for something that we know will not happen now or in the future. And this is like similar to the first use. Like if I said if I won an Olympic gold medal, I would be famous. Okay. So this sentence means that I will not win an Olympic gold medal, and for sure I will not be famous one day. Okay, so I can say this is my wish. If I won an Olympic gold medal, I would be famous. Okay, so again we said the second conditional is used to talk about the results of an action that probably won't happen now or in the future, or for action that we know will not happen now or in the future, maybe because I'm not qualified, okay? Maybe I'm not suitable for this action or this job or this thing. One more use for the second conditional, I can also use the second conditional to give advice. Like if I were you, I would take up sport. Okay, so this sentence means like I'm giving you advice. You should take up a sport. If I were you, I would take up a sport. Okay, so again, this is one more use of the second conditional. And in this type, we can use could or might in the main clause instead of would. Like I can say Jack could win the tournament, the competition, if he trained harder. Okay, so I can say Jack could win. I can say Jack might win. Okay, you might ask yourself a question like, Mr. You said in the first conditional I can use might instead of will, and here you said again I can use might instead of would. Yes, I am true and you are true. The thing is, you have to look at if clause. So if you take a good look here in the second sentence, this one, if he trained harder. So this is here in the second sentence, the if clause, I used the past simple. So again, when you use the past simple, you should use could or would or might. So when you see might in a sentence, don't decide this is first conditional or second conditional until you look at the if clause. Like this one, as you can see. So here, if he trained harder, this is past simple, so I said Jack could win or might win. Okay, so this is the second conditional. One more sentence, like if you left now, you might be on time for the match. Okay, so here, this maybe action or situation will not happen now or in the future. That's why I'm telling you, or that's why I'm using the past simple and the second conditional in specific. So if you left now, you might be on time for the match. Here there's an important note, like we usually use where for all persons in the second condition, because you might say, Mister, how come you said if I were you? No, it's if I was you. No, no, no. For sure this is completely wrong, because in this type, I mean the second conditional, all persons take were, like this sentence. If Luke were better at football, he would be on the team. Okay, so this is the name of a person. So might say, no, Mister, it's was. No, because here this is something like I suppose. Okay, so if Luke were better, this means that for sure he isn't better. So I'm supposing this. So all the persons here in the second conditional use the verb were instead of was. The last point here you have unless, and for sure you know unless. I can use unless instead of if not. So here we can use unless in first and second conditional sentences. It means the same as if not. Like Lucy won't be happy unless she gets chosen for the netball team. Okay, so like I used here unless, and in this sentence for sure it means if not. Okay, it means like Lucy won't be happy if she doesn't get chosen for the netball team. Okay, and can you guess this is which conditional? Lucy won't be happy unless she gets? Is it zero first or second? Great, yes, this is the first, because I used were, and here I used the present simple. One more example, like Mr. Martins couldn't go to the match unless he had a ticket. Okay, so it means like Mr. Martins couldn't go to the match if he didn't have a ticket. Great. Okay, can you guess this is which conditional? Perfect, yes, this is the second conditional. How did you know? Because here I used could plus infinitive, and in the unless clause I used had past simple. So as long as you have the past simple, so for sure this is the second condition. Okay, so let's recap the rules again. So here let's start by again the first one. So here this is I mean type 1. Okay, if clause and then present or future. Okay, and I mean present, like if the two sentences consist of the present simple, so this is the zero conditional. But if you have in the second sentence, I mean the main clause, the future, so this is the first time. Okay, so again the zero conditional, present simple, the first conditional, present simple, and the main clause, it could be will or can or may plus infinitive. Okay, like this one, if he asks me, I will help him. So this is the first conditional, because you have present simple and then future. And this is the second conditional. Again, when you hear the second conditional, so this is the past simple tense. Like this one, if he asked me, I would help. This means like he doesn't ask me, and even he will not ask me in the future. So if you look here at the upper of the page, so in this case it cannot happen. Okay, I cannot ask you, I will not ask you, that's why you will not help me. So the second conditional past simple, and this would could or might. One more thing, and this is related to a new type called the third conditional. Okay, again the third conditional. So right now we have four conditionals: zero, first, second, and right now we will speak more about the third one, and this is the last conditional. So in this type you should use had plus pp in the third one. And had plus be, this is the past perfect. And this case, like when something didn't happen at all. Can you guess? Again, this something, like I use this conditional when something didn't happen at all. And the rule is if past perfect had plus bb, and the main clause consists of could or would have plus pp. Take care because you might mix between this one and the second conditional. So in the third one, I use again the past perfect, not the past simple. And in the main clause, I use would or could have plus bb, because in the second conditional, I use the would or could plus the stem verb. While in this one, I use have plus bb. Don't forget, this is an important. Like this example, if he had asked me, I would have helped him. So this action didn't happen at all. Like I mean he didn't ask me. That's why I didn't help him. Okay? So when I tell you if you had studied better, you would have succeeded. This means that you didn't study better, that's why you didn't succeed. So this is like the final thing in our session for today. I hope you got everything. Have a nice day and wish you the best. Thank you.